Hello, everyone. Welcome to Across the Bifrost, the Mighty Thor podcast, where on each and every episode we explore the world of Marvel's Mighty Thor. I am one of your co-hosts tonight, Ryan Doze, joined by the Prince of Preparedness himself. It's Hercules. Eric Teskey is here. And Eric, you and I are we're back in this it's appropriate. We're talking about cycles on this episode, the cycles of Ragnarok. We are in another cycle where we are phaseless, we are willless. So you and I are holding it down, and we decided, because we're still waiting on the last issue of Immortal Thor, that we are gonna, I don't know, just kind of like reach into the grab bag and see what kind of comes out. And we did this thing where you got to choose a story that you wanted to do, and I got to choose one that I wanted to do. On this episode, we're going to talk about the one that you chose. So I will hand the reins of our eight-legged horse over to you, and I'll let you tell listeners what we're going to be kind of retro reviewing in the world of Thor on this episode.
That's right. Thanks, Ryan. So I was looking through, there's tons of Thor content. I feel like I've been reading Thor comics for years and years and years, and there's still things that I haven't even touched. I haven't even gone near some of these one-shots and things. I was trying to find something kind of juicy, kind of new that I didn't know anything about to dive into. And so I found this one-shot called Thor: Reign of Blood from June 2008, written by Matt Fraction. And I found out after I was halfway through it, I was like, this was kind of part of a series of one-shots that all happened in between April and December of 2008. And that couches this actually before Fraction was doing anything on the main Thor book. So these were just a series of one-shots, because he didn't start writing his own run until 2011.
Interesting.
And these came out during the Straczynski run when JMS was still on the book. And so this was even before Fraction picked up the torch from Karen Gillan back in 2010. So this predates all that.
Oh, wow. I did not know that at all. I see Fraction on a Thor book, and I just assume, oh, yeah, he was already doing Thor stuff.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it must be around the time that he was kind of working on some Thor stuff, and this is just extra stuff. So he's just probably a big Thor nerd and just had these things, and maybe that was why he got tapped to kind of pick up on Thor in 2010. Yeah. Anyway, so this is the second in these 4 one-shots. It is a true one-shot. You don't have to know anything that happens, and there's actually very little that carries over, because, as you alluded to, one of the points of this is that all of these stories are happening in different cycles of Ragnarok. So we open, and this is going to be the 23rd Ragnarok. And so basically everything that happened before it, you don't need to know. It's essentially just replaying over and over again. And this is happening in the 23rd Ragnarok. So I'm just going to give a quick overview of some of the main beats here, and then we can talk about some of the really interesting parts. So we open up on a daughter of a frost giant, and I don't think she is ever named. She's just
I don't believe so. I don't believe she's named either.
So she is lamenting that her father was killed at the hands of the Asgardians, and she's going to retaliate by making this endless winter on Asgard and on Midgard. And so she's sort of controlling this and making this endless winter happen. We cut to the throne room, and we have Odin on the throne. They're trying to sort of decide what can be done about this. Loki is sort of in the role of vizier in the king's ear, sort of whispering to Odin, and at one point gets grabbed by the throat and turns into a cloud of moths. And I thought that was just a really cool visual. And it's like, confounded trickster.
It was fantastic.
But they're sort of figuring out what to do. And it's like, well, you could just, talk to her and ask her to maybe make the winter go away. And Odin is flashing back then to why he despises this daughter of the frost giant so much. He came upon this female frost giant in a glade one day when he was dressed like Conan the Barbarian. He was dressed
he's freaking Conan cosplay.
A sexy young Odin in a loincloth and cape. And the cape is pinned to his bare chest. I mean, he's not wearing a shirt, but he has a cape on. Anyway,
it's hardcore.
She was tempting him, and he was like, yes, this is definitely going to happen. She's like, come back tonight. And he's like, oh, this is definitely going to happen. And it turns out to be a trick. He comes back, and the frost giants are waiting for him. He ends up battling them, and it's especially painful because she left a goat behind as sort of an extra dig of, you know what you can do with that goat, because you're never going to get any of this.
I read that twice, and I was like, is Fraction implying? Yep. Nope. He is definitely implying that.
So Odin has this sort of history with this frost giantess, but nevertheless, they bring her into the court, summon her to Asgard, and they're trying to figure out, how can we make this winter go away? She basically says, I'll settle for a trinket, something made in the forge of Nidavellir, something of exquisite value. And Odin's like, oh, a bauble, then surely a trinket, something we can arrange that. I can commission something to be made. And so the dwarves make 3 items, and the 3 items are fantastic. So there's 3 different dwarves, each making their absolute best work that they can do. One of them is an armband that when it's struck, 9 gold coins fall out. And I'm like, that just sounds so cool. If you're just like, imagine wearing this bracelet and you're like punching yourself in the arm and money's just popping out, like Mario when he gets hit and the coins are flying everywhere.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I could really go for one of those armbands right now.
Right?
That'd be great.
The next one was a necklace that basically is so exquisite and ornate that the intricacy is almost infinite. Like, it's intertwined gold that the more you look at it, it's hypnotic to a certain extent, just how beautiful it is. And then the last one is a giant killing broadsword, right? So a wonderful sword, second only to mighty Mjolnir, he says. And so the dwarves get to work. They make these items and they present them. The dwarves have almost like a little sort of a side bet with Loki about which one is it Odin picking or the giantess picking? I think Odin's picking which one
he is going to give to her, which bauble is going to be her gift.
As the dwarves are talking, and the one is talking about this broadsword that kills giants on touch, Odin is like, kills giants on touch, you don't say. Don't mind if I do, and chops her right in half. So, I mean, I guess with the foreshadowing there, it's pretty obvious that, it instantly kills giants.
Like, the second I read, oh, this sword kills giants, I'm like, gee, I wonder what Odin is going to do with this.
So that does indeed clear up the weather. The sun comes back out again. Loki, having lost the wager with the dwarves, is sort of trying to flee. He's on the run. He's stopped by Thor. And the dwarf says, all right, well, I'm going to take what you owe me from this bet. I'm going to take your head. And Loki says, well, you can have my head, but you can't have any of my neck. And so it's impossible for you to cut my head off precisely enough where you don't get any neck in there with it.
Dude, I made no such deal for my neck.
Yeah. So I thought it was incredibly clever because it kind of confounded the dwarves, and they ended up leaving being like, well, I guess he has a point there. We don't get his neck. We can only have his head. We cut to Enchantress, and she's eyeing this necklace because the ones that leave, they take their other items with them, this armband and this necklace. So Enchantress is in the room, and she's thinking, kind of got to get that necklace. That necklace is pretty sweet. So we cut over to Enchantress now. And by the way, just as a quick aside, again, it's not super essential to the plot, but in the first one shot that came before this, in this case, the goddess Idun that guards the apples and Enchantress are interchangeable. So that's the same person in this. And so she was previously, she was, I think, previously held captive by a frost giant, and that frost giant was beheaded, and that's how they sort of like rescued her and brought her back. She was lost in a wager, and that was in a different, the previous issue. So again, not essential to this plot, but she's the same person who can get the golden apples. So she's pretty essential to Asgard. And we see that the Enchantress is going after that necklace. So she goes to the dwarves and basically is like, Well, it's one of the most ancient of transactions. She's going to sleep with the dwarves in exchange for the necklace.
I was really wondering how you were going to describe this panel because they block everything out, but Fraction does not skimp on the description in these bits of narration.
Yeah.
Yikes on bikes, man. Gosh.
Well, and it's they could have. I think if this was like the main book, I think they would have been a little bit more of a euphemism.
Yeah.
This is just a one shot. It was probably, had its own rating. It was probably rated higher than just like the regular book.
I would imagine it would have to be because this is rated easily PG-13, probably R for gore and the ancient transaction of it all.
Yeah, but I think it looks like and they get into detail about their blistered hands touching her soft gossamer skin. So it's these dwarves are gonna get what they want, but she gets her necklace, so she gets the necklace that she was looking for. She takes it back and she's in the throne room, and Odin is super horny and jealous. So Odin is also, he's like, I've been burned by the frost giantess that wouldn't get with me. I've been wanting the enchantress for years, and she got with these dwarves. What the heck? And so Odin is pissed and jealous and takes the necklace off of her, rips the necklace off her, and it looks like damages it at the same time. And so she says, you know what? Y'all done messed up this time. I'm going to bring the undead to life, and they're going to ravage Midgard and Asgard, and the undead are going to rise up, and you're screwed, and you shouldn't have done that. I'm super offended. So,
like just a quick aside, Eric. I get it. It's a nice necklace. I get it. Odin's an asshole. She elevates this conflict to the next level where it's like, well, that escalated like really quickly. Like, my necklace is broken. I chose to have sex with these 3 horny ass dwarves to get this necklace. And now, you know what? The dead will rise and blood will fill the streets. It's like, wow, that was quite a leap we took there.
Yeah.
But boy, it goes nuts from here.
It goes. I was going to say it gets even more nuts, even quicker. And she's also sort of a stand-in for. It sounds like a stand-in for Hela to a certain extent, because you don't think of Enchantress as really having a lot of undead powers, but to bring the dead, these undead armies, to call them forward. She's sort of a stand-in for really all the female characters in Asgard, apparently, in this story. But nevertheless, the next page we have. It's raining blood. So the storyline "Rain of Blood" is apt, even though it's a nice play on words, because now it literally is raining blood, and these skeletons are rising up. We have these undead armies, and Thor is going to be called into action. He really hasn't done a whole lot in this issue so far.
Yeah, not really.
But Odin says, my son. He goes, "Aye, father," and so he's being called into action here. He has his chariot pulled by 8 mighty steeds, and I want to know which one of these is your favorite name.
Please.
I'll read through them here. We have Slaughterbit, Swamptooth, Snow Harpy, Warhoof, Smoke Mare, Stormbringer, Mud Brute, and Fire Gnaw.
Okay. For the record, they all sound like they could be names of metal bands, which initially makes them just incredibly eye-catching and awesome. There's 2 names that really do stand out for the purposes of this issue itself, is Warhoof and Stormbringer. Stormbringer feels like, I don't know, it's like a Thor sidekick or a Thor, I don't know, pal. Kind of like how, like, in the Bat family or in the Spider-Man family, it's like, this is like Spider sidekick or Spider Boy or Spider Girl. It's like,
you can tell it goes.
Yeah. It's the naming convention for everybody that's around Peter Parker. This is kind of like Stormbringer is what I feel like someone would get with being associated with Thor. But Stormbringer or Warhoof have my vote. What about you, Eric? Which one's your favorite?
See, I like the first 2. I liked Slaughterbit. and swamp tooth. I just thought, like, I don't know if it's the number of syllables or just that it's like you're playing Mad Libs with like what's some like badass Viking shit we could just mash together.
Yes. Let's see. I'm gonna roll this D8 and I'm gonna just like roll it twice and like slaughter bit. Sure, why not?
Swamp and tooth. Swamp tooth.
It also kind of sounds like the names that Jason Aaron gave his dwarves in his run. Very one word made up of two kind of, I guess not prefixes and suffixes, but it's two words slammed together to make a name. It's like, sure, we'll just make it work. Love the names of the horses, though. It's an incredibly badass part of the book.
So Thor is going into this war against the undead for 40 days and 40 nights. He's down, I think, on Midgard, and this alchemist on Midgard, they've been trying to stave off the undead army, and they've done everything they could think to do, including slaughtering all their livestock to try to like saturate the earth with blood to stop the undead from coming. And you'd think that would work. You think that would do it.
Obviously.
Slaughtering all the livestock. That's the first move, obviously.
How could it not work?
And so they're like, well, we're out of livestock, but we do have a bunch of bloody earth here. And so we've made this. And this is the two words that sold me on this issue. Blood Colossus. We have a Blood Colossus.
Blood Colossus. What are we doing here?
Amazing. And all they need to do is to bring it to life. They need lightning to Frankenstein this thing to life. And Thor's like, no. You would need a lot of lightning. What you need is somebody to pilot the Blood Colossus.
Yes.
and tis I, alchemist, I will pilot your Blood Colossus. So Thor is going to he's going to be the one that steps in. So he lies down in the bloody mud.
Yes.
Like he's in a coffin and sinks into the earth, and the Blood Colossus rises. And it is the most badass metal thing. It looks like an ogre that's part metal, part earth, and mostly blood.
It looks like, I mean, honestly, on a recent pregame, we talked with Faz about his latest, greatest hobby, Warhammer 40K. It looks like something out of Warhammer 40K or the Doom games. Like, and it's like, eat your heart out, man. The Blood Colossus is here. I do want to add one little detail, Eric. Thor did give them one instruction before he sunk into the Blood Colossus, which I'm so thankful is a sentence I get to say on ATB. He told them, hey, I know you guys are wicked hungry. If my horses die in battle, burn their bones at night until it's just bone. Do not eat my horses. I cannot stress this point enough. Do not eat my horses. And then the bones, like it'll do like a phoenix thing where like, the bones will regrow the horse, and the horse will be fine. That's the one thing he told them before he sunk into the Blood Colossus. But Eric, I hand the reins back over to you.
The reign of blood. Hand the reign of blood over to me. So yes. He's in the Blood Colossus. He's doing his work. I forget if it was another 40 days or if it was 100 days. He was battling. Basically, they said he had to battle every single thing that had died and had to basically be re-killed on Earth.
Right.
Until there were no more undead anything. And then the rains come and they wash the blood off of the Blood Colossus, and Thor kind of reemerges back from it, and he comes out of his trance that he was using to sort of like pilot it, and he goes back to talk to the villagers, and he's like, cool. So like, where are my horses? And they're like, ooh, so about that, we got like wicked hungry. And he's like, didn't I explicitly tell you not to eat my horses?
I remember it being the one fucking thing I said not to do. And like, but Eric, they try to sell Thor on why they had to do it. They're like, we bit into it, and I'm not gonna lie, man, your horses were the best thing we had ever eaten ever. Yeah. As if Thor's gonna be like, okay, well, I get it. You know what? We're fine then.
Well, since they were delicious, I guess it's okay. Not so. It's,
Absolutely not.
oh my gosh, they go like, you can understand that, can't you? Can't you, Thunder God? He could not, and so he rages again. Oh my gosh, and then returns to Asgard with the horse's bones.
Yeah.
And Heimdall's like, Thor, welcome home. Where are your steeds? He goes, shut up.
Get the fuck away from me.
You shut the hell up.
I'm so pissed.
But then we see Thor actually in the end of this story. We see Thor doing something he doesn't often do, and that's dabbling in a bit of magic. We did see Thor do a bit of magic at the end of the I wanted to call it the Donny Cates run, but it was really the Torin
end of Torin Grunbeck's.
That's right.
It's Donnie's volume, but it's Torin's story. Yeah.
He uses a bit of magic. So he does use a bit of magic on these 8 skeleton of horse or horse bones. And I'm like, why 8? Because, in Norse, 9 is always the number, right? It's like the magic number and everything. So it's like, why 8? Well, it's creating an 8-legged horse. So actually this magic ritual is almost like reincarnating his 8 steeds as this 8-legged horse. It's the origin story of Sleipnir. Fantastic.
Which like and when Eric recommended Reign of Blood, I was like, hey, from the title alone, you've got me, man. I trust you implicitly. And then he's like, also Blood Colossus. And I was like, I can only like this so much without having read it yet. And then when I got to the end, I was like, holy Jesus. Like, like I did not see the origin of Sleipnir coming at the end of this story. Like when the horses get introduced, I'm like, oh, interesting. Like Thor usually has goats, or he usually doesn't have like an animal that, rides with him into battle. But the 8 horses, I was like, oh, okay, why is this not like, why does this feel like it's leading up to something? You get to the end and you're like, holy freaking shit. And I don't know about you, Eric, but like I was thinking, I was like, hold on though. Isn't Sleipnir, isn't it Odin's horse though?
Yeah. I mean, does he give it to him? I mean, I think Odin's probably going to want that horse. It sounds like a badass horse. So, but that must be how it was just created, I guess. Okay,
because I was just saying, normally I associate that specific mythological creature with Odin instead of Thor, but I loved this one shot. It was gnarly, and I totally get after reading this, and I can't wait to read like Ages of Thunder and was it Man of War, and there's the 4th one. I'm forgetting what the title is. But the fourth one is a little bit different. It's the Thor God-sized special #1, and it's called Death and Life of Scourge the Executioner. So I feel like that one actually kind of takes a pivot and has its own story. There. Okay. Well, after reading this one, I totally get why they were like, "Hey, Matt, you want to do a whole run of this?" Like, so, dude, thank you for suggesting this. I had an absolute riot reading this. It was fantastic. It was everything. It was an R-rated Thor book.
It was so satisfying just stumbling upon it. There was little bits of humor, surprisingly, like some comedic timing and some funny parts. They at one point I think it was in the Ages of Thunder one, when they're battling the frost giants. It gets gory, and they throw Mjolnir through the frost giant's head, but they make little jokes about it too, where it's the last thing that went through the frost giant's mind. Well, second to last, because Mjolnir goes through his mind too. So just little things like that, where it's like brutal. Matt Fraction is a savage with this, like with these the jokes that he's working into at the same time. So,
God, that's great. Maybe it would be. I don't know. We could do this again and finish like Ages of Thunder, Man of War. Do these specials that are kind of like they're out of like a 616 continuity, but it's kind of cool to see these other cycles of Ragnarok.
Well, that's the thing. And that's where maybe we can, I don't know, figure out how this kind of works, because to me, it is the 616. It's just in a previous cycle. So that's a kind of a workaround where it's not a different universe. It's the same universe. It's just a different cycle of reincarnation. And so they're kind of so, and
Huh.
these other one shots are actually taking place in other cycles too. So this was the 23rd Ragnarok cycle, where presumably all of the myths that we know about, the Norse gods are all kind of happening and playing out, maybe slightly
Yeah.
different every time. And so I don't even know if this is right. I don't know if this is meant to be like the origin of Sleipnir or if Odin created it in the current iteration since the last Ragnarok. But that is, Ryan, I'm somebody who I like stuff to be in continuity. It kind of bothers me to have stuff
Right.
that's like, oh, this is just some other dimension, other reality. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But for some reason, if it's just a different cycle of Ragnarok, that sits with me a little bit differently.
Yeah, well, because I mean, it's so ingrained in the mythological roots of the character. It
Yeah.
would almost feel weird not to have Thor encounter these cycles of Ragnarok. Like you and I have talked about this, I feel like at length many times.
Like we're in our own cycle of Ragnarok.
Right, it's turning back around. And I am also like a continuity, not a continuity like snob, but like I want it to make sense to me. Like it. Oh, this is a small little bugaboo that I don't like. I don't like it about myself, everybody. But like, if Thor is doing one thing in his solo book, and it's like Thor is in Muspelheim fighting fire demons, and then like, oh, this issue of Avengers came out this week, and Thor is, in Wakanda helping T'Challa with something. It's like, I don't love this. Like it's like my brain is just like, like, so I need to get over that. But I always thought it was like, okay, but how is this all happening at the same time? And I gave up so long ago. The cycles of Ragnarok, like you were saying, do kind of help me with that, because this is almost like an untold tales of Thor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, the reason why you're hearing about it now is because it happened hundreds, thousands, whatever many years ago.
Yeah.
And we still get to tell a Thor story. It's just not in the 21st century or the 20th century, when the character was created. I like these one shots where we look back, and it's totally viable with the character because he's a god. He's eternal. He's, you can do so much with it because he's been around for so many different cycles of Ragnarok.
And this is based so far almost like back in time, right? That it is a completely different Thor than we have when he's a superhero. This Thor is, he barely talks. He's super dark. He's aggressive, violent, right? He's vindictive. He's all these things that we don't associate with the modern character. And that's kind of fun to play with, but yeah. I don't want to have that Thor as like my main title Thor. I just want to indulge in that in like an R-rated book every now and then.
Right. Like it's nice kind of as a backup story.
Yeah.
It's nice as a Tales of Asgard type thing where, yeah, like this Thor is a lot more like the mythological, character of Thor in Pantheon stories and Eddas. So I liked it a lot. And Fraction is, I cannot wait for us. I know we just started Journey into Jurgens, but I cannot wait. Like I am going to press hard for JMS Fraction as a creator spotlight next time around, because this little taste of Fraction, like having JMS do books from time to time, I love it so much. Like it's such a refreshing character revamp, because you can also tell, like, I don't know, this probably wasn't intentional at the time, but you can tell the character is being amped up for his theatrical debut. In 2008, like, we're in the time of Iron Man and Marvel Studios before it was Disney. And just look, everybody, like look at the highest concentration of Thor limited series and one shots and minis. It's in that early 2010s period. So we're getting a lot of this stuff so that more of the public are like, hey, you want Thor stuff? There's a Thor movie coming up. We're going to give you Thor stuff. You will not have a problem finding a Thor comic on your comic book store shelves.
Yeah. But the interesting twist there is that a lot of those minis and things from like between 2008 and 2011 are radically different than what you would get in the
very
movie.
Much.
So although they're kind of doing two things, they're kind of like chumming the water with Thor content because they know they're building towards something, but at the same time, we're getting to indulge in the variety of stories that are told.
Right. And it was, I mean, ironically, it was Fraction who was writing when the book was, heading into MCU territory. And a lot of the things I feel like a lot of the aesthetic from his run and a lot of the aesthetic from JMS's run is co-opted into the MCU's version of Thor. Maybe that's a question that Faz would have more of an aesthetic, nuance to, because he can tell us more about the costuming. But like as far as the characters themselves, I feel like they do really give off a vibe from the Fraction JMS era. But Eric, is there anything else you feel like we need to sum up with Reign of Blood? Because this comic was literally the most metal Thor book we've read in a long time. And I really, really enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, it was metal as hell. Probably my favorite part we've already talked about was the flashback to Odin just lusting and hilarious outfit. He looks like He-Man with like a giant red cape. Oh. And you can just see he's just drooling. You can just tell. So if you love to like hate watch Odin, if you love to hate him because he's just like a dick, this is very satisfying to just be like, what an asshole.
This is peak Odin being an asshole and being super petty. And also, if you love terrible handlebar mustaches, this is the Odin comic for you. Because as he's cosplaying as some Spirit of Halloween Conan, he has the grossest looking handlebar mustache ever. Like, if the artist's instructions were to, hey, make Odin look hot but also super douchey, nailed it, man. Eric, thanks for sending us off into the 23rd Ragnarok cycle and the Reign of Blood. This comic read like a metal album. If you like death metal, you're probably gonna like Reign of Blood. And if you like Thor comics, I mean, come on. It's Fraction writing Thor. Like, what's not to like about it? So everybody, thank you for joining us on this slightly truncated episode. I really appreciate you checking this out. And if you want more from Across the Bifrost, you can check out our Patreon, you can check out our Instagram, and you can check out our Discord. Links for all those things are in the episode description. We would love to connect with you on any and all of them. So next time, I get to take my choice, and it's not as metal, but it is as entertaining. And we're going to go into the realm of Marvel 2-in-1, one of my absolute favorite books, a comfort read of mine. And Eric, Eric, let me know what he thought of Ben Grimm. And I hope that my love of Ben Grimm is finally like extending itself beyond just me liking Marvel 2-in-1. I'm fingers crossed. I hope Eric gets it. So you'll find out next time. And before we jump aboard the Rainbow Bridge, I just want to remind you all whether Reign of Blood was gnarly, so I don't know whether you are busy smiting villagers that have eaten your 8 horses that you specifically told them not to, whether you have sunken into the bloody earth of a blood colossus to fight off the undead, whether you have engaged in the most ancient of transactions to get the necklace that you really, really wanted, or whether you're like Odin and you're just super angry, pissy, and horny all the time, like, and you just don't know what to do about it. We would just like to remind you that the era of Reign of Blood was crazy, but just remember to stay worthy, everybody.
If he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor.
Bum, 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 bum. Like, seriously, what do I say? The book was insanity. Like, okay.